Alright troops, my name is Garrett Blackwood. Welcome back to the vlog. Doing this super quick because this game starts at 1 PM every day and I've somehow managed to sleep in for it today, so I'm going to get straight in there. Full list of players that want to play 5-5-10. Really excited. Let's check out some hands. On to our first hand of the day, and it comes 37 minutes after I press the start recording button. I'm in the cutoff with pocket sixes. Early position is raised to $40. Kind of a big raise, but I do make the call in the cutoff. This is going to bring in the middle blind and the big blind as well. We go 4 ways to the flop. It is ace jack 6. Great start here, flopping bottom set. It checks to me and I decide to bet my hand for $110. See if I can get some action. The middle blind is going to make the call and early position calls as well. The turn is the 5 of diamonds bringing a flush draw. They check to me and I bet $350, trying to get max value with my 3 of a kind here, but both players just fold. Early position size and shows me pocket kings as he mucks. I tell him there's always an ace. Up $245 after this hand, and I decide to straddle, see if I can get the action going here. I'm in the straddle with ace deuce offsuit. Under the gun is limped in. The big blind makes a call and I of course check. We go 3 ways to the flop. In this limped pot, it is ace jack 6 with 2 diamonds. I've got top pair with the worst kicker, so I of course check. Kind of happy to see it check all the way around. The turn is the 9 of hearts and the big blind is now going to lead out for $30. This feels like a sizing tell. I don't think he's going to have 2 pair or top pair very often at all, and it's much more likely he's drawing, so I raise it on up to $130. This is a bit thin, but like I say, I trust my sizing tell read here. Sure enough, he does make the call. The river is an offsuit king. He checks to me and I just check it on back. He's actually got 9-7 offsuit. He wasn't drawing, but he did not have a strong hand like I read into with his sizing tell. So this is a pretty cool flop raise here, winning us a little extra money, up $450, and it's a 45-minute wait before we play our next hand of note here. This game has been kind of passive so far, but out of nowhere, we've got an $80 straddle. I look down at 3 deuce offsuit, really anticlimactic for me, and I, of course, just fold. Not a particularly interesting $80 straddle hand, but it does ignite some straddles, and in the very next hand, the $40 straddle is on, and I pick up pocket jacks in the small blind. Here we go. It folds all the way around to me and I raise it on up to $140. Remember, this is a $1,500 cap game here. The guy to my left shoves for $350. There's an Asian lady in the big blind. She says 1 card, let's go. She looks at 1 card and shoves it all in for $425. I, of course, make the call. The guy to my left has got pocket kings. What a cooler. And the lady to his left has got ace jack. We're going to run it twice here. The whole table is rooting for ace jack. Not going to lie, so am I. Over to you, dealer.
Oh, river, whatever. Oh, no.
Oh, I got diamonds. Oh, wait, no. No, I don't.
Diamonds. Only 8.
Do some whatever. Oh, nice. Yes.
Oh, I thought it was a...
I see what the fuck.
The end. A nice hold for the kings there. I had 1 out, got nowhere near it, but the hands are coming thick and fast now because in the very next hand, I've got ace 8 of hearts on the button and now no straddles. It folds all the way around to me and I raise to a standard $35 size. The big blind is an unknown American fella who's been chugging pints so far in this game and he makes it $140. I, of course, make the call with my suited ace in position, and we go heads up to king, queen 7 with 2 hearts. Really good start here. My opponent c-bets for $125. I think raising is definitely fine here, but I decide to take the cautious route and just call. How about that? It's the 4 of hearts on the turn. I've got the nuts right now, and my opponent bets again, this time for $250. I think raising is completely fine here, but I do just call, set the trap, just in case he's bluffing. The river is the ace of diamonds. I've still got the nuts. My opponent doesn't seem to like that ace, though, as he checks it on over to me. I put on my best. I've got pocket 9s, and I'm bluffing face, and move all in for $700 effective. My opponent asks for a count. The dealer breaks it down. He's deep in the tank. He's chugging his pint. Is he going to pay me off? No, he just folds his hand. Action is a little too fast for me after these last couple of hands to get an accurate count right now, so don't know exactly how much I'm up or down for the day so far, but just a few hands later, I'm in middle position with queen jack of spades. There's a nitty Asian kid in the game. He raises to $30 under the gun. I, of course, put in the re-raise versus this tight, strong under the gun open. I make it $105 to go. It folds all the way around to him, and he makes the call. We go heads up to jack, 3 deuce with 2 spades. Really nice start here, and I decide to just bet my range for a small size, keep the strategy nice and simple. I bet $75, and he makes the call. The turn is an offsuit 9. He checks to me, and I think he's just going to fold all his middling pocket pairs. He can maybe have a hand like pocket queens or ace jack here, so I just pot control and check it on back. The river is a glorious king of spades. I've got the second nuts. My opponent checks checks it on over to me. I bet $300 and he makes a very, very quick call. I've obviously got the best hand if he's just calling here. I turn my hand over, he nods, he mucks. Kind of wild last 20 minutes or so. And after this hand, I head out for a quick break to stretch my legs and take a breath. All right, I'm out wandering the Hustler car park. A very weird day. So when I sat down, there were no pros. There were a couple of the regs that play, and then the rest were like unknown non-pros. And I was like, that's fucking great. We're going to have a wild time today. But they're really passive, like limp folding, and you know, every pot was like $10 in the middle. And one guy like opened pre and flopped top pair and like bet the flop versus me, and then like checked it down with top pair on a really good run out, and I was like, this is not what I thought it was going to be. And then after 2 hours of nittiness, one guy was like, I'm going to straddle to 20. And the guy to his left was like, well, I'm going to straddle to 40. And the guy to his left was like, well, I'm going to straddle to 80. And I was like, okay, no problem. And then I played 3 or 4 really crazy pots. Right at the end, I am winning for the day. I don't know how much. I think probably about $1,000 or so. But I played really well, really tight, not leaking money, which is good. Long may that continue. But yeah, let's get back into it. Up about $1,000. I'll put a tracker up in the corner. Yeah, let's just get back to it. All right, back into my seat here, and it's a slow start for me after the break. It takes 43 minutes before I play my next hand of note. We're doing a round of $20 straddles, and the guy to my left goads me into the 40. Who am I to say no? I put on that $40 straddle, and I get dealt pocket fives. Pretty good double straddle hand here. The button is going to limp for $40. The small blind puts in the race to $200, and this is a nice spot for me to make the call. It's another $160 more, but if we go 3 ways and there's a 5 on the flop, then I could win a big pot. So I make the call, the button calls, and we go 3 ways to king, queen, 9. Really anticlimactic for me. I, of course, fold when a bet comes in. They've actually got jack 10 and pocket 9s. Really nasty flop here. Feels like we're playing on Poker Stars. I, of course, in last place with my pocket 5s, make the fold. I love these hands, which are really different because I have done something. If I didn't put that double straddle on, maybe the whole hand plays kind of differently. But then again, maybe not. So the straddle is stuck now. And then some dude sits down about an hour later and just doesn't acknowledge it. He's under the gun and doesn't straddle and instead raises to $40. I am in the small blind with pocket deuces here, and I want to get this guy for not straddling. Just kidding, of course. I do make the call, set mining with my pocket deuces. Middle blind is then going to put in the raise. He makes it $200 to go, and the original raiser makes the call. I kind of have to call here. Really don't love it out of position with pocket deuces, but hoping for a deuce on the flop as I make the call. It comes down king 4-3, kind of close, but no cigar. I do, of course, fold on the flop, and the squeezer, it takes it down. That's 2 pocket pairs that I put in a couple of $100 with pre-flop, trying to flop a set, and it hasn't quite worked out. Maybe I should just tighten up and play premium hands. Next up, not quite a premium hand, but it is a very pretty one in the form of king, jack of hearts. I raise it on up to $60 on the button. Our resident podcaster, Charlie Hellmuth, is in the middle blind, and he makes it $270 to go. Remember, this is a $1,500 cap game, and Charlie has got $1,500 exactly here, so don't love it. It's not like we're super deep and I can win a massive pot, but I, of course, do make the call. We go heads up to the flop, which is 10-7-4 with 2 hearts. Really good start for me. My opponent checks to me, and I take a stab for $180. I know he's definitely capable of check raising here. I fully expect him to check raise, but I'm kind of happy to get it in with 2 overs and a flush draw. Really surprised to see him just check fold. Like I say, he's very aggressive. He's going to be check raising a lot there, but he must have had a hand like ace-5, which just wants to check fold. Nice pot coming my way here, but the game is now going to get short-handed. We're 5-handed now, which is kind of perilous. There are no other 5-5-10s running, so if our game breaks, then we're done for the day. I really don't want that to happen, and I'm really hopeful that it doesn't, because I don't want to go home just yet. We're still going to proceed 5-handed though, and next up I'm on the button with jack 7 of clubs. I raise it on up to $60. Even though the game's 5-handed, we're still straddling. Absolutely love that. The straddle is going to make the call here, and we go heads up to 9-5-4 rainbow. No backdoor flush for me, and I decide to just check it back. I think people over c-bet on these boards. We want to c-bet if we've got backdoor draws, but with no backdoor flush draw, I do just check it back. The turn is the 6 of diamonds. I've now got a draw in the form of an open-ended straight draw. My opponent takes a stab for $100, and I, of course, make the call. The river is the 10 of diamonds. Overcard to the board. Backdoor flush gets there. My opponent checks. He waves the white flag, and I decide to turn my hand into a bluff here. I've got jack high. Of course, I have to bluff. I bet out for $260, hoping this will just take it down. And sure enough, my opponent does just make the fold. Really nice check back on the flop, call on the turn, and raise on the river there to take this one down. Having a really good day here, up around $1,700 or so. Hoping that'll get even better in this short-handed game. I do kind of thrive in these short-handed environments. Next up, I'm in the middle blind with ace-10 offsuit. So the small blind has raised here to $80. I'm in the big blind blind and make the call. I think 3-betting is fine. I think calling is fine. The straddle is going to get out of the way, and we go heads up to the flop, which is king, king, 10, rainbow. Decent enough start for me here, and my opponent c-bets for $50. I think just calling is fine here. You can raise sometimes if you want, but I do decide to just call. Really interesting turn here. It's another 10. I've now got a full house, but it's kind of a weird full house. And what's more, my opponent continues to bet. He bets $100. I don't think we can raise here ever. I just call. The river is really interesting. It's another king. I've gone from flopping 2 pair to turning a boat to now playing the board. And what's more, my opponent bets out for $500. I really don't know what to do here. I don't think calling for a chop is ever the right play. And it's a massive bet. I think people will tell you the strength of their hand by the sizes that they choose. So I do just let it go. I guess we'll never know what he had, but something tells me he had a better hand than mine. A little setback here, but still up around $1,400 for the day. Next up, I'm in the $20 big blind with Jack 7 of spades. The button is raised to $60. He's a tighter Asian recreational player. The middle blind makes the call. He's a tighter Asian regular player. And I call out the big blind. I am a loose, aggressive Scottish player. We go 3 ways to the flop. It is Jack 4-3 with 1 spade. Decent start here. And it does just check all the way around. The turn is the 4 of spades, second card pairs, but I do pick up a flush draw. And now the middle blind is going to bet out for $90. I make the call, the button gets out the way, and we see an ace roll off on the river. Not really sure what to make of this river, but my opponent comes out swinging. He bets $280. I'm really not sure what to do here. I am very tempted to call, but I do in the end decide to make a disciplined lay down. Not really sure what we're calling here if we're folding a jack, but I don't think this player is going to bluff enough. And I think he perceives me to be a station as well, so I think just folding is the right play here. Profit slipping down to 3 figures, now up only $965 for the day, but still we soldier on. And next up, I'm in the cutoff with pocket 8s. Under the gun is limped in for $20 off of a $350 stack. I make it $75 to go. The middle blind makes the call. The big blind makes the call. And then under the gun limp jams for $350. This is 17.5 big blinds because remember the big blind is $20. So I decide my hand is just about strong enough to go with here. I decide to pop it to $750. This might look a little loose, but remember it's a 17.5 big blind shove. There's about $150 of dead money in there, and I don't think either player is going to have better than a pair of 8s here. So I think re-isolating with some dead money and just flipping or whatever versus the limp shover is the play here. We get exactly what we want. We're heads up versus the limp shover. It runs out 10, 10, deuce, 6, 7. I show my pocket 8s. And he nods and just mucks. Not sure what he had there. I'm going to guess a hand like ace queen or king queen suited or something like that. But he can't beat my pocket 8s. And I'm scooping in this nice pot. Next up, I'm in the small blind with pocket queens. A loose recreational player has raised to $80 in middle position. And I, of course, put in the re-raise. I make it $300 to go. He's going to make the call. We go heads up to the flop. It is king 10-5 rainbow. I'd normally just bet my entire range here, but this dude is relatively loose. So he's going to have more king X than he should. So I decide to just pot control out position here. I check it on over to him. Happy to see him check it on back. The turn is an offsuit 4, and I think in hindsight we've got a very, very clear value bet now. Disappointed with myself checking to my opponent again here, but he does just check it back. So when the 8 rolls off on the river, very clear value bet for me now. I bet out for $350. My opponent thinks for all of about 3 or 4 seconds before making the call. I turn over my pocket queens. Not a good sign when he starts to turn over his hand. He's just showing me though that he's called me with ace jack offsuit. He's called this river bet really, really quickly with ace high. Really nice pot coming my way. Unfortunately, I don't get a count here to see it exactly how much I'm up, but we're coming to the end of the day. Next up is our last hand of the day, and it is a fucking doozy. I'm under the gun, shorthanded with the ace king of diamonds, and raise it on up to $50. There's an East Coast pro by the name of Dingus in the game. He puts in the re-raise to $205. The big blind is going to cold call the $205 3 bets, and I, of course, put in the 4 bet. I make it $525 to go. I'm well aware that I've got to leave in about 20 minutes to go play soccer. I don't want to lose all my profit back, so I'm hoping this ace king is nice to me here. The small blind reg is going to get out the way, but the big blind is going to make the call. He's an Asian recreational player. We go heads up to the flop. It is ace jack 5 with 2 diamonds. Really nice start for me here. My opponent checks it on over to me, and I'm fully convinced he's got either pocket queens or pocket jacks. If he's got pocket jacks, we're behind here, so we want to take a free card. board. And if we've got pocket queens, this tight Asian guy is just going to fold. So I decide to just check it on back, keep his queens and his jacks as quiet as possible. Of course, a queen hits the turn. We're now losing to jacks and queens. Bit of a disaster turn card here. And I'm regretting my decision to just check it back on the flop. What's more, my opponent now moves all in for $1,275. This guy is not capable of bluffing here. He might have ace king, but it's much more likely he's got queens, jacks, or ace queen. I've got myself in a massive pickle here, but I don't think we can fold. It is a relatively big shove, but we've got top pair, top kicker, gut shot, and the nut flush draw. So I say, yeah, okay, if you've got me, you've got me. I make the call. I ask him if he wants to go once or twice. He's happy to go twice. Dealer, help me out here.
That's me. That's me. That's me. That's me as well.
Holy shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
The table descends into a hushed silence. It would appear that I have sucked out massively, not once, but twice to win this pot worth $3,715. This is a huge hand to finish up the night. I actually had to leave straight after this to go play soccer. Talk about a hit and run. I also didn't have time to record an outro. So this last hand is going to be the last thing we're going to see. That's going to do it for this session. Winning a very nice $3,527 for the day. If you guys have enjoyed my poker vlog here, please do consider clicking the sub button. Until next time, guys and girls, take it easy.